In these recent years, if you're one of the people who've, been on the train of calling yourself a gamer or an unfortunate target for price gouging and technology, potato, you can likely agree that, we've been spoiled like hell when it comes to the sheer amount of games that we get on a regular basis. Like, the gaming industry is so big now that, basically anyone that has access to, internet tutorials or totally legal versions of developer software can make and publish a game, just like that. Granted, not all of what drops nowadays is always good, sometimes it's like being a kid with parents on a budget asking for stuff. You might want to play a fun game like table tennis on Wii Resort, but then the new game section on Steam will tell you to shut up and eat the Wii table tennis that we got at home. So with just the gigantic amount of games that we get bombarded with all the time, it's a lot of hit or miss, and to be really honest, I could even say that the miss count has been going up like the mistakes found in the 𝘕𝘕-𝘕𝘕 video, even with some of the biggest names that the industry has to offer, case in point being Game Freak's long-running IP, Pokemon. Now, don't get me wrong, Pokemon is literally a series that's older than the person that you're listening to talking right now, so I'm only like halfway shitting on the game when I say something negative about it. At the end of the day, it's always going to be one of the most influential RPG titles that I could easily recommend, even for completely, green and new players to indulge in this whole universe no matter what media genre they choose to enjoy it as. I damn near say that liking Pokemon is basically a required human arc that we all have to experience at life at some point. It's got to be hardwired into the DNA. But you see, again, I'm talking more to the new players when I say stuff like that. If you grew up in the 90s and especially in the early 2000s playing most of the Pokemon games, you would likely have more mixed feelings with the franchise's current state of basically relaunching the same game with little to no substantial changes, even with letdown gameplay mistakes. Now, Pokemon is already established as a household name that you literally can't escape, so people are going to buy whatever Game Freak decides to gargle out with that memorable yellow font logo on the cover. Every streamer has at least one Pokemon plushie for a reason. But you see, after the recent unprecedented Power World events, a small indie game, which came out of nowhere and basically mocked Pokemon's whole swag, but added mechanics to the title that Nintendo fans have only dreamed of having an official Pokemon game, it went to show that even the biggest companies in the world can lose their footing with the public due to how much competition is out here in modern times. And that is an amazing thing. Having shit like that happen is what gives us, the players, better games, since developers will have to prove themselves as to why they have the better game in the market by actually putting in some effort and not just sliding about using their names. And it is that reasoning right there as to why I do think that Game Freak is finally on the verge of locking in and, sitting forward in the gamer seat as a way of regaining the love from the players. Not just because of what's going on with Power World, even though the timing couldn't be a coincidence, but also because of their recent actions that they've been taking as far as their current games that they already have on the market. First off, with their most recently released and, aforementioned mainline Pokemon game Scarlet and Violet, the game is, still going strong with a loyal and dedicated fan base almost 2 years after its release. But even though we're this far into this game's lifespan, it seems that the Pokemon company is using the game as some sort of, test guinea pig for the future of Pokemon, since it was recently announced that they were actively listening to the Scarlet and Violet criticism. Obviously, that's, something pretty common for game companies to do with any of their games, but, after these recent events that's been going on with the Power World, you can't really tell me that they're not going through subreddits right now looking like Shinji's dad from Evangelion. So that is a great sign to see, at least for me, but it doesn't really stop there because they also updated one of their most popular mobile games ever, being Pokemon Go, with some quality of life changes. Players were shocked to be, greeted with a surprise update that had, things that players actually found useful, like a ready to raid button for allowing players to solo queue and raids when you can't find other players. They also brought in a revive and heal all button, now allowing you to easily tend to all of your Pokemon at once, and even some, new helping UI to help you understand your Pokemon even better, just some really solid new features. And people have been flooding social media with nothing but positive things to say about the changes, which I can imagine the Pokemon company is wanting to see right now with how much criticism that they've also been getting. So even though the little positive streak that they're on right now is small and really barely even a streak, to be honest with you, but I feel that if they keep this type of behavior up into their next mainline title, they might have a chance of completely putting the narrative that they're dealing with into a full Nelson and weaseling it out of existence. But even still, unfortunately, if I were to guess, I do feel like Pokemon lost out on the majority of a whole new generation of potential Pokemon players because of just how accessible and less expensive that Power World is. Not to mention the inclusion of animal cruelty. You can't really beat that. But like I said before, the name Pokemon is set and engraved in, Minecraft bedrock stone. So, they're always gonna have a fan base. The only question is, will they be able to recapture the majority of public approval like they once did at their peak? So what do you guys think about Pokemon and, this new news coming out right now, man? Feel free to comment down below. As always, if you like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one.